What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. Final Fantasy VII is only a few days away, but a bunch of reviews dropped yesterday morning, very early in the morning. I think it was like 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. Eastern time, and they're kind of controversial. Some of them are really excited about the game and really liked it, and some were not. So we're going to talk about those reviews. No spoilers here, but it certainly looks like we're looking at a very reimagined Final Fantasy VII is what I will say here. Also, Animal Crossing has had a bit of an egg problem. Looks like Nintendo pushed a patch to fix that. We'll talk a little bit about that. And then Atari, we haven't talked about them in a while, but it looks like Atari is being sued by the Atari VCS creator. I'm sure I'll get my VCS someday, right? As always, guys, if you enjoy these videos, make sure that like button helps out a ton. And if you're brand new here, hit that red subscribe button down below. And we're going to start with a bit of an update for Cooking Mama from yesterday. Strange thing going on, right? With Cooking Mama appearing and then being pulled down from the eShop, but it's still in retail stores. There was word that it was mining cryptocurrency, although that appears to be false at this time. However, we do have a quote from someone at the development team. And this is an exclusive from Screen Rant. This is what they said. At one point, the Japanese official Create clients came to oversee development. An argument started and the clients were told to go home if they weren't being constructive. Once they found out that Planet Entertainment released the game, they used their Nintendo contacts to pull it from the eShop and stop production of cartridges. Wow, so apparently Planet Entertainment just dropped it on the eShop when they weren't allowed to, or they didn't have full permission to, and it got ripped down. That is a strange situation once again. Like, even though we kind of understand a bit more, it's still really weird looking from the outside. And I do question how rare these are going to become, like the cartridges out there, because if they never get a chance to release it, well, this might be one of the rarest Switch games at the end of its lifespan. So we'll see if it shows up, but this doesn't look great. And the other thing was the system getting hot, working very hard, playing this game and draining battery. That apparently is because it's built on Unity and it's just not optimized well at all. So there we go. We'll see if it ever pops back up, but for now, I wouldn't really expect it to. Also, later on today, 5 p.m. Eastern Time, there will be an Inside Xbox presentation. Now, they did say immediately no Xbox Series X information will be here, which immediately put kind of a damper on the idea of Inside Xbox, since most of us are looking for a game even that's not Minecraft with ray tracing on for the Series X. Something. Halo Infinite gameplay would be amazing. Like, I would like to have some more confidence that it's actually coming out this year next to the brand new Series X. But this looks like at least what we have to expect here, which will, of course, have Game Pass announcements, which those are always fun, right? Especially if they drop immediately and you just open up the app and you start downloading. But they'll also have things like Grounded, some Sea of Thieves stuff. This was all outlined on their news.xbox.com site. And then also some indie games, it looks like, from their ID at Xbox. So nothing major here. They also mentioned Gears Tactics, which, okay, that's fine. But it's not going to be like this big blowout for the Series X or even mention the Series X at all. Maybe they'll even talk a little bit about xCloud in some way. Who knows there? But it looks like it's going to be more of a smaller presentation overall, even saying it's going to be about 40 minutes with a Grounded presentation for, I guess, just gameplay coming afterwards. I'm not too excited for Grounded myself, but hey, Game Pass announcements are always fun. Oh, and a real quick piece of retro news. This is pretty funny. We had talked about how Mario 64 was decompiled, so people could look through the code and make changes that maybe would help the game a bit. We saw how different compilers were being used, all this stuff, right, to try to make it run better. Well, take a look at this. This is on Twitter. It popped up. It was apparently a part of ROM hacking, a new patch that was put out for it, where someone went through the code, and you can see it here. They fixed the smoke coming from Mario after he catches on fire. Apparently, that's been bugged for 20 years, and they went ahead and fixed it so that it looks correct. And you know what? I never really noticed or thought that it was bugged. I just thought, hey, it's the Nintendo 64. It's doing its best, right? Now, apparently it could have looked better, and for some reason it was bugged. I don't know, but there is a patch out there. You can get it, you can apply it, and it will make Mario look, I guess, much more realistic with the smoke coming from him. At least I guess it'll look less like, I don't know, what's that look like, a bush or something coming from him? Interesting stuff that people are finding after it's been decompiled. And now I'm curious what else people will find in the code. And guys, with some of the quick news out of the way, let's get into the bigger stuff. Let's start right away with Final Fantasy VII Remake, as the reviews did drop yesterday morning, and it currently sits at the time of this recording at an 87 on Metacritic. Now, there are still several reviews that are pending currently, as I guess they are still working towards the end of the game, where for this game, it seems anyway, from what I've been hearing, you certainly want to get to the end to see the ending of this section of the game. It does appear that this is a reimagining of Final Fantasy VII straight up. So events are being changed, moved around, things retconned. That's not necessarily sitting well with fans of Final Fantasy VII, like the lore and the story, because there has been a lot that's kind of built that story up even outside of the original PlayStation 1 release. You think of Advent Children, Dirge of Cerberus, right? And then several others, even some on like cell phones. Then we had Crisis Core. There's a lot of stuff around this title. But Square going back in and reimagining it, I think for me anyway, is going to be interesting because I don't know what's going to happen with this game. Like when I started up, I have an idea, right? You know the characters, you know the setting in Midgar, but you don't know what's going to happen and what's going to unfold in this story. But critics did take a look at it, and we've had some on either end of the review spectrum, if you will. We have things like GameSpot giving it a 10 out of 10, VGC giving it 100. I know IGN Japan gave it an 80, but then on the other side, you see places like EGM giving it a 60. And while those who really like it seem to enjoy the changes that were made and the idea that you have a whole nother game to look forward to after this, others are saying, oh, it feels padded. There feels like there's some padding here to get it to what has been said to be about a 35-hour playtime, a little more than 40 it seems if you want to do everything, as there are quite a few side quests, but it is diving in headfirst to the Midgar setting, and I kind of like that because Midgar was a smaller part than you would think for what it represents in the Final Fantasy VII world. You were only really in there for 7-8 hours at the most in the original Final Fantasy VII on the PS1. So I like the idea of getting much more out of that setting because I think it was really, really interesting to see that. But I'll admit, I thought this would have been a 90 or above, and 87 is not bad at all. And there just seems to be kind of a differing opinion on what Square has been trying to do here with Final Fantasy VII Remake. Also, I don't really know if Remake is necessarily the best title for it. Like I said, they're not technically, I guess, remaking the exact same game. They are changing things quite a bit, but that's the title they went with. I'll be curious to see what the title is for the next quote-unquote episode of this series and how many episodes we get out of it. But that seems to be the big thing here, is some people really like the changes that are being made, and the big ending is apparently massive and mind-blowing to some people, but others just do not. So that's kind of where we are, and I've seen that reflected in a lot of reviews. It just more or less depends on that. Otherwise, though, the gameplay, everyone seems to agree, is very, very good. The leveling's fine, and the overall characters are well represented. So yeah, I'm looking forward to Friday. I think it's gonna be great. I think a 35 to 40 hour playtime is fine, considering that's the same play, I think it's the same play length as what the Final Fantasy VII is on the PlayStation 1, and this is just Midgar, so I'm hoping it doesn't feel too padded, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited. It really does feel like a different kind of build-up for me, now knowing that a lot of stuff has changed and we're getting kind of a new experience with the same characters and settings. So fun stuff there, and I'm sure I'll have a video out hopefully next week after I get a chance to play all the way through it, talking about my experiences and thoughts on the game. Next up, we have some new additions to the eShop Spring Sale. SEGA went ahead and just dropped a bunch of games on there on your Switch now that you can check out, that some of them are marked down pretty well. So let's jump over to the eShop sales page here so we can take a quick look. And you just go to Nintendo.com, they have their sales page up. You jump over to the Switch page for this and you'll see all of these here. And they have the basics. Of course, you have Sonic on there, as you'd expect. They also have the Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games Tokyo 2020, by the way, that they marked down to $40, which is an okay markdown, I guess. But if you take a look at something like Sonic Mania is half off. That is $10. That is a great deal for that. If you're curious about 2 Point Hospital, that's marked down to $30. And then you also have Valkyria Chronicles 4, that's half off at $15. That is a very, very good pickup. Or maybe you want the first one, that is also half off at $10. So technically you could pick up 4 and the first one for $25, not bad. Then you have Shining Residence Refrain, which at $20, that's a pretty good value. I think that's one. Maybe it's just JRPGs, but I like to try to get them just physically. But then you also have the Sega Genesis classics, which I always say, if you see these compilations go on sale down to something like that at $12, that is a very good one to pick up just because of the amount of value there. But then also Soul Seraph is one that I looked at $6, might be worth taking a shot at. And then Sonic Forces is $10 for anyone, I guess, who wants to pick that one up. Still not really sold on it, but I guess for $10, it's not too bad. Sonic Team Racing, or Team Sonic Racing, is the last one here on the list that I think is worth picking up at $20 as well. So hey, not a bad lineup there from Sega jumping into the eShop Spring Sale, and that started yesterday. So if you want to take a look at some of these deals, you can go on your Switch or jump over to Nintendo's website at their deals page and see what you can pick out here from Sega's section. Next up, let's talk about Animal Crossing, as of course Bunny Day is coming up in Animal Crossing, and they introduced a new update that added a ton of eggs to the game, and it was starting to really frustrate people, like really frustrate. You would go fishing, you'd look down, okay, there's a fish, a very large one right in there. Okay, I'm gonna fish, and oh wait, an egg pops out. Oh, okay, and then you see a balloon go by. Wait a minute, that's an egg balloon. That is what a lot of people have been dealing with, myself included, and yeah, it's been frustrating. Like, I see it online all the time. There's a lot of memes around how many eggs you collect. You get way too many. The drop rate for these eggs is ridiculous. It looks like Nintendo's been hearing us, so that now at least we'll look down and there is an actual chance at that fish shadow, being a fish. Here are the patch notes. Now this is version 1.1.4, and the biggest thing that everyone took away from this is that they adjusted the appearance rate of some Bunny Day eggs, and that's through April 11th, and then eggs will be easier to find on Bunny Day itself. That will be April 12th. That makes the most sense. The amount of eggs that we've been seeing, that's what Bunny Day should be, right? Like, it should be harder. I think what they should have done is, as soon as that update pushed, it should have been like you find an egg every now and then, like it's actually kind of rare. And then the closer you get to Bunny Day, the more eggs will start to spawn and show up on your island. And then Bunny Day, they're just everywhere. And then after that, it goes back to either being rare or just gone completely, right? I think that's the best way to do it. And after seeing the amount of complaints online, it seems like I will give them a lot of credit. They jumped on this quick. They have been updating Animal Crossing a lot. People have started to notice this, specifically who go through the different updates, like data miners. They are realizing that Animal Crossing continuously gets updated with fixes and little patches and everything. So I like to see that. I mean, it's almost like a live service game almost with what they're doing, but it's actual good, like good patches and things to really help out the experience. So I'm glad they're listening. If there's something in Animal Crossing you don't like, I guess let them know online, as they are certainly paying attention. But I'm sure Bunny Day will be back to eggs being all over the place, but at least for now, it's a bit more under control. And in our last bit of news, let's talk about the Atari VCS. I know you might be laughing right now, but seriously, because there are a lot of people who put money into this thing, myself included, and I gotta say, it just does not look good. Now, they've sent out emails saying that currently with manufacturing coming to a halt in China and now starting to start back up again, they're getting underway, getting these things developed, created, and sent out. They said at one point they had 500 ready to go, and I said, oh great, they're gonna start filling orders, only to read the next line that says that they are being allotted for developers. And I thought to myself, are there 500 people who want to develop for this thing? Like, seriously, you got me. That surprised me more than anything. So unfortunately, once again, we're still waiting for these things to show up at our doors when they were supposed to be here at the end of, actually, no, it was supposed to be here like 3/4 of the way through 2019. And here we are in April 2020, still waiting for anything. But it looks like we did get some news, as Rob Wyatt, the person who actually created the Atari VCS, like sat down and worked on the design, which I'm okay with the design. I think it's more or less everything else about it, is suing Atari for $261,000, saying that their company, who was Tinjin, that was actually sending them invoices, never received any money from Atari, which is head-scratching considering millions of dollars went into that Indiegogo, which a lot of us would assume was allotted to, design the system. And this is a legit lawsuit that was filed in Colorado. VentureBeat managed to spot it and went over it, and I don't know. The Atari VCS is probably not going to come out. I don't know why you go to court with your creator if, they actually designed it and all of that, and it seems to be happening and coming out. At least they keep sending us pictures of it being built, but they haven't sent anything physically to us, and now we hear that the creator of that system never got paid, and they're to the point now where it is legitimately being filed in court. It's one thing to say they never paid me, I'm going to take them to court. It's another thing to actually file the paperwork. People can see it in court documents that it is a thing. This Atari VCS, it really has turned into a full-blown circus at this point, and I will be amazed if it shows up. It's just, I think it's just gonna end up being another one of those Indiegogo stories where we look at something really cool on Indiegogo and then we go, oh yeah, wait, do you remember the Atari VCS? I'm not gonna get burned again. And we'll finish up with the comment of the day, as you're seeing here. This one is from SEGA Mist Retro, saying, Spawn, ever since this whole drama with Cookie Mama, those physical games have skyrocketed in price on eBay and Amazon. I wonder because of YouTubers or people just knew it will become something valuable. Look for yourself. They have been going up in price. I kind of figured they would after hearing about this. So if you're at a Walmart or a Target or a GameStop is like passing you stuff through the door, ask about Cooking Mama. Might actually be worth buying and just leaving in the shrink wrap even, because I think back to, I'm collecting for the GameCube, there was a game that had something very similar happen. It was a college hoops game. I think it was 2K3, but Sega canceled 2K games on the GameCube and it halted production, but some got out there and it's now worth like $400 or $500. So to complete my GameCube collection, I will at some point have to buy College Hoops 2K3. It's probably a game I really don't care to play for $500. So yeah, hey, Cookie Mama, maybe not a bad investment. It's something I think we'll look back on at the end of the Switch's life and see it going for hundreds of dollars online. And ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it here for Newswave. If you enjoyed this video, guys, hit that like button, really helps out. If not, hit the dislike. Leave comments down below about everything we talked about today, whether it's Atari being sued by the Atari VCS creator. Is this thing ever coming out, or is that just that kind of it? You think they took the money and kind of ran with it? Also, what do you think about Final Fantasy VII, the review scores? Are you picking it up on Friday? And then also, what about Animal Crossing and the egg drops? Were they annoying you? Let me know down below. Thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.